Ooh, no, we'll leave it on. I might forget to cut it back on. Oh, let's see. Back here. Okay, now it's okay. Wonderful. All right. I was wondering, okay, what do I do? Learning this stuff. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Anita, and this is lecture 3 of the Rare Disease Scleroderma Advocacy. All right. So today, this morning, for this 15 minutes, what I'm going to do is share information about Orphan Drug Act and clinical trials. Well, let me see. I don't have to put my glasses on yet, but they're right there. So first of all, I just want to welcome you. I want to thank you so much for joining in, watching the replay, just sharing your energy with me. I'm thankful and grateful for you. And also want to invite you, for those who have been diagnosed living with an immune disorder, condition, um, syndrome, disease. I'd like to invite you to our autoimmunity group. It's a private Facebook group, and basically what I do, I put information in there, and we're just connecting, just connecting. So we'd love to invite, welcome, and embrace you. That is on the Facebook group. This is India. That's the Facebook on Facebook, and it's autoimmunity. So you can, or you can just post below and say, hey, plug me in, join, let me, bring me in, and I'm happy to do that. Okay. Yeah. So this is lecture number 3, and I will be looking down quite a bit because I'm learning this information. This is new for me as well. So I have an outline here of what I'm going to be sharing, and we said 15 minutes, and I'm a stickler with time. So first of all, I want to share that in the research that I've been doing, I've been noticing the word no cure. And I just want to say, I do not believe that there is no cure for a disease, disorder, condition, or syndrome. I believe there is an herb for absolutely anything. Now, we may have to go to the deepest part of the jungle to get it, or in the most dense part of the forest to get it. But there is an herb. There is a cure. Just because a cure has not been discovered doesn't mean there is no cure. It just means that it has not been found. And to me, I'm like Judge Lois H. Smith, who I admire, one of the judges in the Michigan Administrative Office of the Hearings and Rules. She says that's the difference between the lightning and the lightning bug. Might be subtle, but that's a big difference. Because it's not been found doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I just believe that there is a cure for absolutely everything. And I believe it is found in an herb. All right, so I want to talk about Orphan Drug Act. Okay, so what I found out, which is quite interesting, the Orphan Drug Act during the 20th century, that was when many scientific developments were coming about, medical and therapeutic advances. And then in the 1970s, it became clear that of these medical advances and treatments, that there were a lot of people that were being left out. And they were being left out because what they were diagnosed with was not known, i.e., the Orphan Drug Act. Okay. And because it was not known, it was due to because of a small population, meaning that only so many people were diagnosed with this thing. So I guess it was just a lack of communication, if you will. I mean, this is my take on it. People, the medical field, they were not, they were not communicating with each other. Doctors, nurses, staff, anybody in the medical profession. So then, in the 1980s, it was discovered or found out that rare disease affected about 20 to 25 million people, and that there exists for like 5,000 rare diseases. Now, the response to that discovery was that the Department of Health and Human Resources, they established um, and promoted the development to treat the rare diseases, meaning orphan diseases, okay? And then in the 1980s, the National Organization for Rare Disorder, they were established, and in 1983 comes the Orphan Drug Act. Now, one such rare disease, because I'm an advocate for rare disease, specifically scleroderma. So one such rare disease, scleroderma, sclera, Greek, that means tighten, and derma, we know epidermis, dermis, subdermis, derma means skin. So scleroderma is a disorder or disease that involves the connective tissue and the tightening of skin. And it could involve, it doesn't necessarily have to, but it could involve a kidney, vital organs. Well, your skin is a vital organ. That's your main, the most protected vital organ that we have is our skin. Because it protects us from the outside radicals and things like that. That's why it's so very important what you put on. It's very important what we put on our skin to make sure it doesn't go skin penetrating. Anyway, it can affect the other vital organs such as kidney, liver, heart, and lung. Okay. It is an autoimmune disorder or disease. Okay, and now with the rare disease attention, I found this interesting. I used to watch, I don't remember the episode, but I used to watch Quincy M.E., that show. And when in my research, I found out that that show brought out more recognition and attention to rare disease because there was a young man, a character that played played a part that he was diagnosed with. I think it's called Tourette. I may not be saying that right because again, like I said, I'm learning all this, too. So it's more like Tourette or something like that. So that brought attention to the rare disease. And then in the 1990s, FDA assigned 370 products. 49 were approved with the orphan status. 2002, the orphan status grew almost to 1,100, which was 232 status approved. And then the number this number with the treatment, it was estimated that 11 million patients were treated with these rare diseases. And then from that, it came the Orphans Product Grant Program. And I believe this is the birth of the clinical trial studies. And that's this lecture is about the Orphan Drug Act and clinical trial studies. Now, the clinical trial, and you can find those who are interested, and the more I research about this clinical trial studies, the more I am in favor of those clinical trial studies. And you can find clinical trial studies by I think it's clinicaltrials.gov or maybe clinical trial, but I do believe it's clinicaltrials.gov. And the main database is stationed in Washington. Now, the clinical trial study, the purpose is to create development treatment for, let me see. Let me do this here. Let me see how I can, hold on, you guys. I'm going to exit the full screen, and I'm going to stop my video, and I'm going to bring it back on. Okay, there we go. All right, see, I'm learning. All right, and I'm going to put it on full screen again. Okay, so so where I was at was that the clinical trial studies, it was birthed to provide to bring about the development of treatment for disease, disorders, syndrome, and conditions. And it typically, I believe that when someone volunteers as a participant, that it's free. And during the clinical trial studies, a lot of them are like blind, or double blind. That just means that the doctor or the person administering, oh my gosh, I may have to go. Just 1 second. Good morning, this is Anita Powell.
Good morning, Ms. Powell. This is Administrative Law Judge Viola King. I am about to connect you to the conference call for Ariana Akeo. well.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Good morning. Okay, gotta go. Gotta go. I'll finish later.